Welcome to a Tin Dog Podcast, number 301. Now, this year, as you're no doubt aware, is the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. Or more strictly speaking, the 23rd of November marks the 50th birthday, so we're still in the 49th year. This is the rev-up, the build-up, the exciting time. Yes, you know what happens with excitement. You're often disappointed. But apparently they're going to try their best. Now, we all know that there's going to be some sort of drama. And piecing together casting information and, well, things Mark Gatiss has said in the past, it definitely looks like, this is because the basis of all drama is conflict, that the whole creation of Doctor Who docudrama, i.e. just like The Road to Coronation Street, the drama here comes from William Hartnell being replaced at the end of his time. Logically, the biggest drama behind the scenes isn't the struggle to create the show, although that's of interest to us. It's the idea of regenerating the Doctor and the entire series into Pat Troughton, replacing Bell. We then have a lot of flashbacks to the creation of the TV show. Thus, you can have all of the iconic moments of the first few years of the series all neatly wrapped up in one show via the gift of flashback. So everything works, everything's logical, and that I'm desperately looking forward to seeing. The stills I've seen online look fantastic. Of course, the sad bit of information about this time is that we've lost some seriously important people of late. We've lost Ray Cusick, a person whose designs basically gave Doctor Who an iconic image. Oh, how many times am I going to hear the word iconic linked with the Daleks? But it's just true. We can't get away from the fact that the original design is just gorgeous, simple, and fantastic. It's terrible that Ray won't get to see the 50th anniversary of the thing he's most famous for. The guy did a lot of other work, and yes, he was grumpy on a monumental level, but then again, wouldn't you be? An ex gratia payment is fine. I know he was under contract. It makes sense. I've done the same sort of thing. I see toys of the things that I built and I designed and I signed away for available in Toys R Us. And I'm not bitter. I'm just kind of proud. But this I'd be bitter about. This I'd be very impressed about. Richard Briers took on roles in both Doctor Who and Torchwood. He's gone. And within weeks, Bob Godfrey, the man who animated Rhubarb and Custard with Richard Briers' voice, also passed away. I was a big fan of both of them. Hell, big fan of all three. So it's sad to see them go. But that's not what this podcast's about. What this podcast is about is Doctor Who releases and Doctor Who in general. So, what do we have to look forward to? Well, there's a series of Big Finish / Audio Ghost stories, Destiny of the Doctors. There's one of those coming out one per month, January, February, March, and so on. As this is currently March, we're up to release number 3, and I'm kind of playing catch-up. So this time I'll be reviewing story number 1, Hunters of Earth. Now, Big Finish, as everyone knows, I am a massive fan of. More about that later. And Audio Go have produced some remarkably good works. Audio Go are primarily set up to do speaking books, a small studio, someone reading, more suited, say, to the earlier Companion Chronicles. Big Finish have got a larger cast sort of arrangement. That's what they're geared towards. So Nigel Robinson has produced more of a Companion Chronicle / audiobook for this range. That's basically what this range is. Tiny cast, there's 2. People doing versions or impressions of the other people, and they have a feel and they have a feel of the Companion Chronicles. Apparently there's a massive overriding story arc which is fairly noticeable, which has to be sewn up in release number 11, which happens in November, rather fittingly, with an 11th Doctor story. Now, I don't know if any of the actual Doctors are going to turn up in this range, because they're all written, just like the Companion Chronicles, from a companion's point of view. This is Susan's story. It takes place in October of 1963. Yes, there's a definite feel of the 60s, And Carole Ford still manages to portray Susan with the unearthly elegance that she managed almost 50 years ago. The basic plot is fairly simple. Something is happening to teenagers, making them turn on aliens. Now, I'm doing the little rabbit ear things there, and I know that doesn't really work on audio, so just take my word for it that that's what I'm doing. Aliens being outsiders. Now, anyone with a vague notion of what they're listening to has realised by about the first time it happens what's going on, linking narratives and storylines, and the plot isn't exactly the most challenging, but I don't think that's what this is truly about. It's setting the scene. It's creating atmosphere for what's to come. It's only the equivalent of one disc long, so there's not as much scope for in-depth characterisation and the like. The extraneous characters could belong in this, or indeed in Remembrance of the Daleks, all stories set around the time. In fact, Remembrance of the Daleks definitely has echoes of what's going on, although I hasten to point out there are no Daleks in this whatsoever. Yes, there are very nice nods to Magpie Electronics, and a host of shady government deals, all of which I can live with. Carole Ford's voice of the First Doctor definitely captures essence of his performance, if not his voice. I don't want to spoil any more by going into any more depth, but this is a very good beginning to a very good range, and I will be covering it completely as we go through on to November. Now, another small word about the reviews I will be doing. I did suggest that I could review Big Finish. Now, for those of you not even remotely paying attention, you know that recently I watched every single episode of Doctor Who ever on TV. The creations of episodes that were missing via the gift of audio or reconstructions, I did those too. It was a monumental task, but it paid out in Whostrology. No one, to my knowledge, has sat down or stood up and gone through the entire range of Big Finish. There is a lot of Big Finish. I did the maths the other day. There's actually more Big Finish Doctor Who than there is TV Doctor Who, especially if you include the Companion Chronicles. If it's just Big Finish Doctor Who with a doctor in it, it's pretty damn close. So, with 170 bits of the main range, and I'm not going to review the spin-offs or the specials just yet, I've decided to go on a monumental quest and listen to every single main range Big Finish story and review it. Now, I know not all of you out there are Big Finish fans, but hopefully this will either convert you or spark a bit of interest in some of the stories. However, some of you just don't want anything to do with Big Finish. I'm only really covering them because, well, the DVD range is coming to an end. I'm not sure what will replace them, but I'm sure the releases will be more sporadic. I will still be reviewing them. I will still be reviewing as much Doctor Who as I can get my hand off. I definitely will still be reviewing the TV shows. My aim is to do podcasts of the same length I've always been doing, around the 10 minutes, and then do 2 per week. The second one being a Big Finish review. So come with me and experience every single Big Finish main range release from the start, from 1999 onwards. Experience the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th Doctors in all their glory. Take a trip down memory lane if you've already experienced them. You know you want to. But believe me, I still, honestly, will be covering a lot of other Doctor Who. And so on that, I'll fade away and let you get on with the rest of your lives. And the next podcast, well, that's something very special. So until next time, be seeing you. You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its connected properties are copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. Whostrology, a Time Traveller's Almanac, is available through Telos Publishing or Amazon. Visit www.whostrology.com for further information. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.